If I had to pick one deck that perfectly represents Yugioh Vrains, it would probably have to be ATK. Vrains was all about link monsters, spamming out as many of them as possible, link climbing in a variety of creative ways, and getting out boss monsters with big numbers. This deck does all of those things. From a single card, you can link climb your way up into anything, including the biggest boss monster of them all, this game's one and only Link 6 monster, the Arrival Cyberse ATK. Unaffected by everything, and potentially having up to 6,000 attack, most of your deck exists just to turbo out this big boy. And hope your opponent isn't running any kaijus. And unlike a lot of decks that focus on making stupidly big monsters, this one is super consistent. A single Achichi gives you a board with an Arrival Cyberse and a Quantum Cyberse Dragon to protect it from attacks. And that card can be searched by I Need You, which can be searched by Pikari, and if this wasn't a budget build, also Sign Up Mining. Needless to say, that's a lot of copies of a card that just does everything for you. This lets you load the rest of your deck with extenders and interruptions, allowing you to make your board stronger or sometimes play through interruption. After sitting on your invincible boss monster for a turn, it's then easy to take apart their board and ATK. And so, how much will a powerful deck like this cost you? Well, €30, give or take. And 15 of those are infinite impermanences. You can cut it down to about 20 if you use effect failures instead. And so, without any further ado, here's the deck profile. If you're familiar with the deck, you'll notice that there's a few ATK cards that aren't usually run at these ratios, or at all. That's because they're alternatives for more pricey cards like Sign Up Mining. If you're not convinced, check the combos at the end, and maybe you'll change your mind. To start off with the ATK monsters, you run 3 Achichi, Pikari and Doyon, 2 Bururu, 1 Danmari, 2 Hiyari and 2 Gachiri. Achichi is your best starter, doing the whole combo by itself. Pikari is the second best, since it searches a card like I Meet You, which can then search Achichi. Doyon's an important combo piece, adding back whatever monster you normal summoned from your graveyard to your hand, so that you can summon it again with Ignister Island. Bururu could be at 1, but 2 means you'll almost always get its search from Cyberse Wicked, and on summon it sends your 1 Danmari to give you a quick effect negate from the graveyard. The remaining 2 monsters are mostly just extenders to make a stronger Arrival Cyberse. Remember, it gains 1000 attack for every different attribute it was summoned with, so these monsters, being Earth and Water, won't conflict with the regular combo. Plus, they can all summon themselves, so you don't need anything specific to be able to use them. As a bonus, Gachiri can make your monster unaffected by card effects when used to link summon, so you can make your Quantum Dragon also unaffected by everything. For their back row, run 3 I Meet You, Idol Reborn, and Ignister Island, then 1 Eye Contact and Eye Shadow. I Meet You searches your starters or extenders, depending on what you reveal, and is also the reason we run certain extra deck monsters like Fire Phoenix, just so that we can search Achichi. Idol Reborn is a monster reborn for the archetype, with the bonus of being a quick play spell, which comes up occasionally. Sometimes you can search it during your combos to extend further too. Ignister Island is searchable off your Link 1, but it's the only thing that makes the deck work, so you can't really afford to only run 1. Plus, if you end up with more than 1 copy in your hand, you can just search Eye Contact to shuffle back the extra copy and then draw 3, hopefully drawing one of your tech choices. Finally, Eye Shadow can be a fun card if you already have everything you need. It forces your opponent to attack the monster you target, so if they haven't been careful with their low attack monsters, you can make them slam into your Arrival Cyberse and maybe just ATK themselves. Not convinced yet? Well, if your opponent removes it in pretty much any way, it just lets you draw a card, so that's nice. Now for generic support. 3 Parallel Exceed, 3 Infinite Impermanence, 3 Titanocider, 3 Rivalry of the Warlords, and a Terraforming. Parallel Exceed allows you to just slap a rank 4 monster on the field after making your Arrival Cyberse, and Impermanence is a good hand trap that's going to be a lot cheaper for a while thanks to the Cyberstrike structure deck. Titanocider helps you as one of your biggest threats, which is extra deck monsters with over 4000 attack, with access code being one of the most common of those. Thanks to this, you'll not only be able to negate its effects, but also lower its attack to 0, making it much easier to ATK next turn. Plus, this card recycles itself. Then finally, terraforming is just another Ignister island, and Rivalry of Warlords is an easy include in this deck, because every single monster you run is Cyberse type, so it doesn't restrict you at all, but it can be a huge problem for your opponent's deck. Also, since there isn't a Cyberse type Kaiju, it also prevents your opponents from removing your boss monster that way, meaning sometimes they just won't have an out for it in their deck. In the extra deck, run 2 Dark Infant, 2 Dark Templar, 1 Arrival Cyberse, and 1 Fire Phoenix to start. The first 3 are part of your main combo, in which you go through 2 Dark Infants, and then Fire Phoenix is there just so that you can reveal a fire type to search a Chi-Chi. Then you have your extenders, which are Cyberse Wicked, Splash Mage, and 2 Transcode Talkers, which are just used to link climb your way up into an Arrival Cyberse. You run a Cyberse Quantum Dragon as your main synchro, but also a Wind Pegasus for certain combos that allow you to link it away to get its graveyard effect. Then there's your 2 Exceeders, Light Dragon and Firewall Exceed Dragon. Light Dragon helps break boards, and Firewall will have 5500 attack when made under the Arrival Cyberse. Finally, Lingeribo lets you turn a bonus Ignister into a Trap Negate, which can be super useful against Tri-Brigades. Now, if your budget is a bit bigger, the main thing you'll want to upgrade into is 3 copies of Signet Mining. One day they'll hopefully be a bit cheaper, and if you do have access to them, you can cut an Eyeshadow, a Hiyari, and a Gachiri. Now I'm going to show you some combos. If you've been enjoying the video so far, make sure to give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. First off, I'll show you the 1-card combo I mentioned earlier. This whole combo is done off a single Chi-Chi, so everything else in your hand is just bonus. Normal summon it to search a Picari, then make a Dark Infant who searches Ignister Island. Summon Picari was Island, searching I Meet You. Use it to search a Doyon, then make a Cyberse Wicked and summon it at Link Point, searching Hiyari and returning a spell to your hand. Make a Transcode Talker, then summon Hiyari, sending a Danmari. Link them all into Dark Templar, then summon a Chi-Chi since you haven't special summoned a fire type yet. Make it into another Dark Infant, triggering both it and Dark Templar's effect, making it divine and summoning back a fire, wind and light. Make a Cyberse Quantum Dragon, then bring back the Picari you used as a material, before linking everything into a 4000 attack Arrival Cyberse, who's protected from attacks thanks to Quantum Dragon, and with a quick effect negate from the graveyard thanks to Danmari. Now I'm sure some of you are wondering what you need in your hand in order to make a 6000 attack Arrival Cyberse. Since there's so few things that actually get that much attack, it effectively needs a Kaiju to out. Well, all you actually need is an extra special summon, so Hiyari works super well. All you need is to do your combo as usual, but at the very end, summon Hiyari with its own effect, then link everything into a 6k Arrival Cyberse. If you have a Gachiri instead, you can sacrifice 1000 attack on your Arrival Cyberse in exchange for an unaffected Quantum Dragon. Combo up to the point where you summon back all 3 Atignisters, synchro summon your Quantum Dragon, then, since Picari is summoned back without its effects negated, you can negate them to summon Gachiri. However, since now the total link rating, excluding Quantum Dragon, either adds up to 5 or 7, you first need to link them into a Splash Mage, activating Gachiri's effect to make Quantum Dragon unaffected. Then bring something back with Splash Mage, and, counting Dark Templar's link rating as 1, make a 5000 attack Arrival Cyberse. Now for some test hands. Despite using it in my ideal situation combos, you really don't have to start with Chi-Chi in order to make a good board. Instead, you can just search it and combo off from there. Since you have both of your good spells already, you can search Eyeshadow with Picari instead. Since you have an Idol Reborn, use it on Bururu to make a Wind Pegasus, and link that away into your Arrival Cyberse so that its graveyard effect is live. Then you can summon your Parallel Exceed, and make a Firewall Exceed with a ton of attack before setting your traps. Now when it comes to Eyeshadow and Quantum Dragon at the same time, people seem to disagree on the rulings. In theory, it could create a Marauding Captain type lock, but others, including Edo Pro, rule it that Eyeshadow overrides Quantum Dragon, and they're forced to attack the Arrival Cyberse. If you're playing this at locals, make sure to check in with your judge to see how the ruling will go. Finally, here's another test hand that can end in a very powerful board. Not only will you have a strong Arrival Cyberse thanks to your extenders, but also you'll have a Quantum Dragon, a Trap Negate, and a Rivalry of the Warlords, which will hinder a lot of decks from ever creating something that could threaten your Arrival Cyberse. And again, since there's no Cyberse Kaijus, they won't even be able to tribute your monster. After summoning back all three, do the Gachiri combo, making a Wind Pegasus before linking everything into a 6000 attack Arrival Cyberse. That triggers Parallel Exceed, summoning 2 copies of itself, and then you can use Idol Reborn on your tuner, synchro summoning a Quantum Dragon. With the remaining Parallel Exceed, just make a Lingeribe, set Rivalry, and end your turn with an unaffected by everything, unkaiserable, protected from battle's 6000 attack Arrival Cyberse. So what did you think of the deck? Honestly, this deck feels quite underplayed considering just how strong it can be. This is only the super budget version. If you invest just a bit more into it, you can have yourself a very competitive deck. It's worth picking them up while they're so cheap. So if you liked the video, make sure to give it a like, and then subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching!